No, I don't find, I'm just being myself.
She is a very calculating, manipulative woman who has got Harry in her clutches, and she knows that this is worth millions to her.
It was supposed to be just another picture-perfect day in Montecito. The California sun was gently kissing the sky, the manicured hedges glistened in their symmetry, and Meghan Markle, the Duchess of Reinvention, herself was in full authentic mode. Her team had just wrapped filming another glossy real-life campaign video. Everything was calculated to perfection: the warm glow, the minimalist luxury, that effortlessly expensive energy. Meghan appeared radiant, sitting there with her famous half smile, the one that says, "I'm just like you," only with better lighting and a private chef. But oh, if only she knew what was coming. Because a few hours later, that same video, the one she'd approved down to the frame, would explode across the internet. What was meant to showcase Meghan's grace and control would soon expose something she'd worked years to bury.
Bewildering Instagram video over the weekend, and I saw it, and this is her.
And then, like a perfectly timed plot twist, the internet did what it always does best: zoomed in. Frame by frame, freeze by freeze, eagle-eyed fans picked apart every second of that clip. Within hours, someone spotted it a blink and you'll miss it moment hidden in the background. One fan gasped, "Wait, is that what I think it is?" Another replied, "No way, Meghan wouldn't be that careless." Oh, but she was. Because that tiny, almost invisible detail would spiral into a frenzy that not even Meghan's billion-dollar PR machine could contain. What they found behind her polished smile wasn't just a mistake, it was the unraveling thread in her tapestry of perfection. The Duchess of Image Control was about to face her biggest PR meltdown yet.
She was dismayed by suffocatingly pompous palace procedure and despaired of her regal in-laws. When challenged about her book contract, Jessica insisted she has no intention of spilling the Meghan beans.
And this wasn't some harmless hiccup. The internet had caught her slipping. Within 24 hours, the clip was everywhere, trending on every platform, dissected in every corner of social media. Hashtags like number Meghan exposed, number caught in the act, and number PR nightmare began flooding timelines faster than her publicist could hit refresh. For someone who built her empire on flawless curation, every frame, every caption, every filtered moment, this was the ultimate betrayal by her own content. Insiders say Meghan was stunned. She had personally approved that footage, every light angle, every inch of background decor. Nothing went live without her stamp of perfection. Yet somehow this slipped through. At first, Meghan laughed it off. "It's just trolls," she reportedly told her team. "They're obsessed." But that calm didn't last long. Because as the storm grew, it wasn't just trolls anymore, it was fans. Her fans. The same ones who used to defend her against tabloids were now asking, what was that photo doing there?
To be able to sit and watch a show for 30 minutes, but how can I give you a recipe in 2 minutes?
As whispers turned into chaos, people demanded answers. What was that hidden detail? What did it mean? In the now viral video, Meghan sits in her Montecito office, minimalist chic, a few luxury candles burning, and a carefully arranged bookshelf stacked with what looked like inspirational books. Classic Meghan. But then came the discovery that would shake the foundation of her image. On that shelf, a small framed photo, slightly out of focus. Not new, old. Fans zoomed in, cropped, enhanced, and froze the image, and what they found wasn't Prince Harry. It wasn't Archie. It wasn't Lilibet. It was another man. Not a celebrity, not a royal, but her former agent, the same man she'd once accused of mismanaging her early acting career. The man whose leaked emails had resurfaced years ago, linking her to deals she'd publicly denied. Why, out of all people, was his photo in Meghan's newly curated workspace?
Wholly commercial reasons. Meghan Markle has realized there is big money to be made.
The internet went wild. If that photo was intentional, it meant one shocking thing: Meghan was rewriting her past again. Reddit threads exploded with theories, side-by-side comparisons, and timelines. "This doesn't add up," one fan posted. "If this was filmed recently, why does it look like props from a Guinness? Her old Toronto office? This feels staged." And that's when the whole narrative began spiraling out of control. What began as a glamorous campaign suddenly turned into a public investigation into Meghan's authenticity. Her relationships, her obsession with narrative control. Behind closed doors, the tension was volcanic. Multiple insiders revealed Meghan called an emergency PR meeting that same night. Doors slammed, voices were raised, and she demanded to know who let this mistake happen. She felt sabotaged, one insider claimed. And the rumors only intensified when news broke that a longtime staff member, someone from her archetypes team, had resigned just days before the video's release. Someone who, reportedly, knew too much. Coincidence? Meghan didn't think so. The next morning, her team went into crisis mode. The video was quietly pulled down, then re-uploaded, this time cropped just enough to hide the infamous shelf. But it was already too late. The screenshots, the freeze frames, the theories, they were everywhere. Meanwhile, Prince Harry remained oddly calm. He reportedly told her, "Just let it go." But Meghan doesn't let things go. To her, this wasn't just a PR mess. It was an attack on her control. And for Meghan Markle, control isn't optional, it's survival. As British tabloids feasted on the chaos headlines screaming, "Duchess in damage control" and "Who's the man in the frame?", Meghan's world began collapsing from within. Behind those Montecito gates, she was reportedly glued to her phone, reading every comment, calling her team at all hours, trying desperately to stop the bleeding. But every fix only made things worse. Because now, people weren't just talking about the photo. They were digging up everything. Old blog posts from the TIG, deleted Instagram photos, cringe red carpet clips from her Suits days. The internet had officially decided to pull back the curtain, and this time, there was no palace to protect her. By Monday morning, insiders said Meghan had reached a breaking point. During a private call with a Hollywood stylist, one she'd been courting for a new partnership, the stylist allegedly pulled out. The reason? Too much negative noise. That rejection hit her like a thunderbolt. Meghan thrives on being adored on momentum, but now the headlines had turned. Her empire of image was crumbling, and this was one storm her smile couldn't weather. She'd set out to show Meghan too calm, untouchable, redefined. Instead, the world was watching Meghan unfiltered breakdown. The Montecito mansion had turned into a full-blown war room. Phones were buzzing, assistants running from room to room, and Meghan pacing in her kitchen with that tight-lipped fury only insiders know. Her latte sat untouched on the marble counter, while her communications director whispered, "We can still spin this." Spin. That word, again. Meghan's favorite, her armor. They assured her all she needed was a distraction, something glossy, emotional, and perfectly timed. And if there's one thing Meghan knows how to do, it's redirect the narrative. By noon, like clockwork, an exclusive piece magically dropped in one of her most loyal magazines. The article painted her as a misunderstood working mom, balancing the cruelty of fame with motherhood and grace. It had all the Meghan hallmarks, soft focus language, emotional buzzwords, and just enough vulnerability to look sincere. But this time, it didn't land. The internet wasn't buying it. People saw the tactic for what it was, the same playbook she'd used for years, victimhood, empowerment, inspiration, and for the first time, the audience was exhausted. The comment sections were brutal. She's always the victim. Every story ends with her crying. She controls every frame. This wasn't an accident. The backlash was relentless. And worse, it was spreading beyond gossip blogs. Variety, The Hollywood Reporter, and major industry insiders began weighing in. The headline that broke her heart? Meghan Markle faces PR meltdown as Hollywood questions her authenticity. In Hollywood, perception is currency, and hers was tanking. A former staffer, the very one who'd resigned just before the video dropped, had been talking, not directly to the press, but to people who talked to the press. And what they claimed left Meghan breathless. According to those whispers, Meghan herself approved the photo. She wanted it in the shot as a symbol of how far she'd come. She never expected anyone to recognize the man. The implication was devastating. If true, she'd orchestrated her own scandal and then blamed her team when it exploded. In Hollywood, that's unforgivable. Loyalty is gold, and Meghan had just melted hers. Soon, former team members began posting cryptic messages online. One, "When truth becomes too heavy for spin, even the best masks crack." Another simply posted one word, "liberated." It was enough to send gossip channels into a feeding frenzy. The message was clear. Meghan's own camp had turned on her. And when your inner circle leaks, you're finished. By the end of the week, Hollywood's silence was deafening. The calls stopped. The invitations vanished. The same publicist who once fought to represent her now whispered, "Let's wait and see how this plays out." Translation, you're radioactive. Everywhere she turned, doors were closing. Her podcast sponsors, gone. Her collaborations, postponed indefinitely. Her carefully built as ever lifestyle brand, losing followers by the minute. For a woman who thrived on attention, who measured power in clicks, followers, and spotlights, the sudden quiet was unbearable. Then came the moment that broke her. Late one night, paparazzi caught her leaving a private dinner in Santa Barbara. Her eyes were swollen, her jaw tight, Harry walking 2 steps behind her. The headline the next morning read, "Meghan in tears after PR disaster." But what no one saw was what happened after behind the closed doors of Montecito when Meghan finally cracked. According to insiders, she gathered what remained of her inner circle and made a dramatic announcement. No more handlers, no more filters, no more waiting for approval. If they want authenticity, she said through tears, I'll give them authenticity. And just like that, she took control again, or tried to. The next morning, Meghan posted a long emotional statement online. It was everything her followers expected: poetic language, references to resilience, motherhood, and the toxicity of online hate. It was half confession, half performance, a signature Markle move. But this time, it backfired spectacularly. Instead of empathy, she got fact-checked. Users pulled old interviews, screenshots, and contradictions. Every sentence of her statement was dissected like a courtroom exhibit. She says she's honest now, but what about last year? One comment read. She calls this bullying, but wasn't she the one deleting comments when fans asked questions? Another replied. Even her celebrity allies, those who once defended her with heart emojis and hashtags, went silent. And that silence, it was louder than any headline. Behind the scenes, Harry was reportedly drained, caught between supporting his wife and admitting their lives had turned into one endless PR emergency. He'd left the palace for peace, but California had become its own golden cage, one made of algorithms, camera flashes, and constant crisis management. Inside Montecito, the mood turned icy. Staff walked on eggshells, avoiding eye contact. Words like authenticity and photo were unofficially banned in Meghan's presence. And then came the betrayal that cut deeper than all the rest. One of Meghan's closest Hollywood friends, someone she dined with, defended publicly, and photographed beside, went on a popular podcast. They didn't mention names, but everyone knew. Sometimes, the friend said softly, people forget that authenticity can't be manufactured, not even with perfect lighting. It was a dagger dressed as wisdom, and it went viral. Within hours, entertainment outlets framed it as A-list friend throws subtle shade at Meghan Markle. To Meghan, it was pure humiliation. Her Montecito mansion, once a sanctuary, now felt like a haunted house filled with echoes of betrayal. Staff members reportedly described the atmosphere as suffocating. No one dared mention the scandal, the photo, or that podcast comment. Harry had retreated into quiet frustration while Meghan scrolled endlessly through coverage, searching for a narrative she could still control. But deep down, she knew something had shifted forever. Her image, once untouchable, was now cracked. And for Meghan, image is everything. Every attempt to fix it only made the cracks wider. She'd built her career on controlling perception, but now perception controlled her. And that realization that the story had escaped her grip was the moment she truly broke. Because this wasn't just another bad headline. This was the day Meghan Markle realized her greatest weapon, her mastery of narrative, had finally turned against her. In the weeks that followed, the noise around Meghan didn't die, it simply changed shape. No longer the Duchess of polished perfection, she'd become something else entirely. A cautionary tale about fame, image, and the dangers of believing you can outsmart the internet. The irony? The same audience that once adored her now dissected her every move for truth. Hollywood moved on, as it always does. Brands looked elsewhere. And Meghan, still beautiful, still brilliant, but undeniably bruised, was left standing in the ruins of her own narrative, wondering how the woman who'd once rewritten her destiny had lost the pen. And maybe, just maybe, this time, there was no coming back.